Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ruechel, and thank you so much for joining us for this segment of the PCS Journal, where we talk with the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Michael Grego. Good to see you.
Great to see you too, Al.
All right. I don't want to tell you what my SAT score was when I was going to college, but it wasn't what we're going to talk about first, because there's a huge congratulation. Anybody that gets a perfect score on anything. So we got a kid from Largo High School who got a perfect 1,600 on the SAT. Oh, my goodness.
It is a great surprise, but Jacob Harrison. And by the way, I went over to meet him the other day, shake his hand, take a picture, and just congratulate him. And his mom had contacted us too, but I thought he was a senior. You know, you just think about it, he's a junior. So I said,
I didn't know that.
The good news is that you don't have to take the SAT anymore. It's the highest score possible.
Yeah.
But member of the wrestling team, swim team, tutors other students in science club. I mean, just a really well-rounded student. Very humble. Yeah. Very quiet student. Didn't like a lot of the attention of even me popping in and surprising him. But what a great conversation. Great family. Great student, looking to go to higher education someplace, top-tiered school.
Wow, and I think he also said in the paper, he said, you know, well, I knew I could do it, but then when he did it, it was like, oh, okay, I did it.
And I've never seen one. He showed it to me, you know, the students today, it's on their phone, so everything, you know, we used to get everything on paper and in the mail and not want to open it up, but he said that he was walking to school, he and his friends, they noted that the SAT scores came out, they looked on his phone, he looked at it, and you know how you largen things?
Oh yeah, and just to make sure, like, okay,
is that really a 1,600?
It's not a 600, it's a 1,600.
Yeah, so
that's good. Well, as long as we're talking about great scores, and you know what I love about highlighting these is you know, you have to deal with the negativism out there. Oh, kids can't get a good education, we're 49th out of 50, blah, 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 blah. And then you have kids like this, but also some kids down in Lakewood that got perfect scores on their ACTs.
On the ACT, we had 3 students down at Lakewood High School. And it's not only the perfect scores I want to emphasize here. I really want to put a lot of emphasis on our elevating excellence as a district. We are moving students to really excel and to be able to compete. As you know, Al, the competition to get into top-tiered universities, both in-state and out-of-state, is just tremendous.
Oh, it's tremendous, right.
Students are competing against people throughout the nation and really throughout the world. And we want our students in Pinellas County to be able to compete against any of them. And we see more and more perfect scores, great, but just know that behind those perfect scores there's also a lot of increased scores. And so Elevating Excellence, our partnership with our Pinellas Educational Foundation, and as you know, the Jacobson Foundation provided $1 million to support Elevating Excellence. That's how highly they thought of that program, is to take students with potential and to build dreams. You know, and it's not only a test score, Elevating Excellence, it's that support structure with the families and with the schools. So I'm real proud of not only these students, perfect scores, but a lot of students behind them that are increasing their test scores to get into top-tiered universities.
Right, and Nathan Hamilton was one of those students, William Klein was the other, and unfortunately we don't have the name of the third student, but congratulations to them, and the third student knows who he or she is, so congratulations.
It's a she.
A multiple pat on the back for that.
Yeah.
Also, another honor. You know what has been fun? Things have been going so smoothly around the school district, and we've had so little controversy that we can concentrate on all of the awards that people are receiving. This one goes to a middle school principal named the finalist for the 2019 Florida Principal of the Year.
I was contacted at the end of last week by this Florida Department of Education that we had one of 3 finalists for Principal of the Year. Linda Burris, a tremendous leader, took and worked very hard with her staff at Largo Middle School, made from a D to a C, and that school is going to be an A school in our community. Implemented the middle years IB program in that school, provided tremendous staff development for her teachers, implemented a very rigorous mentoring program for her students, and just has woken up the community, and the community's rallying around her. Every element of strong leadership in terms of being a principal, Linda possesses, and not only that, but she implemented. And so the state recognized it. It was a great surprise. She personally gets $1,500 from the State Department, which is fine too, and the work she does I truly value.
Well, and the reality of it is you know, with $1,500, you know these principals and even the teachers end up using some of their own money, which they shouldn't have to do, but they do, so congratulations for that wonderful thing. A lot of interest in Palm Harbor. They had a community meeting about changing the name of Palm Harbor Elementary School Tell me how that went and the significance of the naming.
Well, it went really, really well, Al. And you know, we were, as you know, we're opening up the former Palm Harbor Elementary School, and we're putting a gifted center and also a center for innovative reading. And that is, we're going to be working with students who are either classified as dyslexic or they have characteristics. And so, struggling readers, but sometimes very, very intelligent students.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
And so we're opening up Palm Harbor Elementary, the former Palm Harbor Elementary School, and we followed the board policy of renaming that school, or initially naming it. It's been closed for about 10 years plus.
Wow.
So we went and followed that. We put it out on our website, social media. We received hundreds of suggestions, but the most frequent suggestion was Elisa Nelson for an Elisa Nelson Elementary School. Named after Elisa Nelson, obviously the tragic death of abduction of Elisa a number of years ago that shook Palm Harbor. But I can say to you that I've never seen a community come together like I have through this naming process. We had over 350 individuals writing letters of support for Elisa Nelson Elementary School.
And that's been quite some time ago too, wasn't
it? It is, but I can tell you the Make-A-Wish Foundation that has been formed by her classmates, not only by the family. I think that's something that people don't really fully realize, that it's really her classmates that have been fueling a lot of this information, or a lot of the push for not only the naming, but also the foundation, the Making-A-Wish Foundation. And these dollars go into our Pinellas Educational Foundation, Take Stock in Children. She's revitalized a lot of the media centers in our district because Elisa really loved reading.
Sure.
And so I saw a tremendous coming together yesterday at our board meeting. We had close to 75 to 100 people come to speak.
Yeah.
And the board voted 7-0 to name this school yesterday, Elisa Nelson Elementary School. We have the principal, the construction's happening. It is a very exciting project. And so we look forward to opening up our gifted center and Center for Innovative Reading strategies in the northern part of our county. Now we will have 3. We will have one at the Elisa Nelson Elementary School. We have one at Ridgecrest, and now we have one at Midtown.
Okay.
And so now the parents who live in all 3 areas, you no longer have to be bused an hour and a half plus to get to a gifted center.
You know, there was a lot of forethought, because sometimes as you're driving around the area, you will see some of these elementary schools that have been shut down, and how wise it has been for the school board to hang on to those properties, because you never kind of know how populations are going to shift. So you already had the building facility there. So there's a big difference between going in and renovating a facility and having to start from scratch.
It is, and I want to invite the community, really, when we have that ribbon cutting and we finish this and we open it up, we're going to invite the Palm Harbor community, and we want this to be their school. This is not a, I love community schools, and schools should be the hub of the community, and Palm Harbor has really spoken very loudly on this.
All right, we do a lot of talking about wonderful things that happen in the music programs. In fact, we just had the Principal's Appreciation Breakfast for South County.
Yes.
And as always, and you do the same thing, I look at these kids that are singing and the acting and the playing, and I'm going, what? They had a middle school jazz band. And I'm listening to that, I'm going, these are how, and I'm going, oh, these are all 8th graders. And someone go, no, we're 7th grade. So it was just, I mean, it's just, it blows you away. It was really, really good, wasn't it?
Well, thank you. And thank you for hosting and emceeing that show. I think it was stated that you've done this for 25 years.
Listen,
not that we're aging you, but you've done it for decades.
The first year that Take Stock in Children took place. So that tells you how long I've been around.
It's 25 years.
Yeah, at least. All right, enough of the age stuff. Tarpon City, Tarpon Springs, rather, the high school jazz band will be competing in New York City, and of course, anything musically comes out of Tarpon is superb, because Kevin Ford, their band instructor, their mentor, their wizard of wisdom. I throw all these superlatives. He's very humble. He wouldn't, but that's going to be fun.
It is, and I think sometimes we assume the excellence of Tarpon Springs, the Leadership Conservatory, and not recognizing the importance of this particular event. This is the first time that any school in Pinellas County I'm not sure in the state has really been recognized to be invited to this most prestigious jazz festival. Over 5,000 jazz bands really look at and compete and apply. 112 schools or jazz bands are chosen to audition, and out of that, and these are the top 112 in the nation, 15 are chosen to come to New York.
Wow.
And so this is the first time, and I encourage the community and all really to support. Chris De Leon is the jazz conductor who works with Kevin Ford
sure.
too,
Okay,
and I want to give him a shout out
that's
too.
neat. Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
But because both are going, and I may make that trip also.
I was just going to ask because I know you went with a marching band when they went up there. So.
And they have invited me, and if I can make it, I certainly will, and
Wow.
I plan to. This is a once, hopefully not a once in a lifetime, but this is the first
Very
time.
rare.
And I'm very proud of the Tarpon Springs community for their support of the band, and a lot of the other 14 other schools. When I look at it, these are highly selective magnet programs.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I love about what the Leadership Conservatory does, what they do at Tarpon, they take all students. It's not, there's not a strict audition where we're only going to take the finest.
Yeah.
They grow all of
They
their
do.
musicians and their leaders, and I really value that. And with that, they find the best in students and they groom them all the way through 12th grade. And these are life skills, no matter what they go into,
Yeah,
that they are
absolutely.
strong leaders.
Let's run through a couple other things we got because we're almost running out of time. Nasim Hamad, a senior at Lakewood High School, that's the 34th Lightning Community Hero by the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's a pretty big deal. That's a lot of money. $50,000 donation from the Lightning.
It is, and we always want to thank the Lightning. What a generous
Oh,
organization! Yeah. They do great work, and yes, Nasim donated half of that as he can, one half to his own scholarship. He's part of the CAT program.
Oh, okay.
At Lakewood, and he donated half of it to the CAT program to continue to
that's
build
neat.
that. So we're really, and it's also a wonderful example as he and his parents immigrated from Palestine, and they only spoke Arabic at home. And it's one of the great examples of how students in our own ESOL program works with students, and now he is also, we mentioned about, he was also a Take Stock in Children.
Oh, so identified very early on and got support.
And here
That's
we go.
wonderful.
So it all works together. It's all
Yeah.
about putting those pieces of the puzzle together.
Wonderful. One more thing, Dixie Holland High School College Board's AP Computer Science Female Diversity Award. That's interesting.
Well, it's part of an initiative both by our Pinellas County School District and also by the College Board on a national level to get more females in computer science. And so we have computer science offerings, AP computers, in just about every one of our high schools. And so the trick is, and there's still more males in them, is to get more females engaged in computer science. These are really high-paying jobs.
Right,
in the
and this is
future.
the teacher that was acknowledged, whose name is Jacob Colosi, to closing the gender equality gap in computer science. And even in our industry, we are seeing more and more females that are involved in computers.
Yes.
And it's great to see. Well, gosh, they're giving me a wrap, and we couldn't even talk about summer bridge registration is underway. Oh, we just did. By the way, that begins on Monday, March the 25th. Snuck that in on you, didn't I? We'll be back with more of our program right after this. Dr. Grego, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.